So, how does everyone feel about my new routine? I think it's hilarious.
Not me, I think it could use some work. How about you, Yvonne?
I think it's great. It's definitely got its own unique style.
Yeah, but maybe it needs more punchlines.
So, do you think the new hot dog stand on Bleecker Street will make it? I'm not sure. It's been a few weeks and it doesn't seem like there are too many customers. Yeah, no kidding. There was one guy eating there the other day and he seemed like he was really enjoying it.
Is he a regular? I'm not sure. But I do know that after he finished his hot dog, he decided to order a second one and then go around the corner for some ice cream. That's crazy. What kind of person eats two hot dogs and then ice cream right afterwards?
Maybe someone who really likes food? Yeah, I guess you could call him a food enthusiast.
We should have a contest to see who can eat the most hot dogs and then finish with ice cream.
You know what would be really crazy?
What? Tell me.
If Larry became a competitive figure skater.
No way, that would be completely ridiculous.
Yeah, but I bet he'd make a great triple axel. I think he should give it a try.
Oh, come on, that's never gonna happen.
Never say never, Larry. Come on, what's the worst that could happen?
I could sprain my ankle, break an arm, crash into the wall.
I was going to the store downstairs and saw a really cool top I wanted to buy. But when I went to the cashier, they told me it was free. I couldn't believe it. How did that happen?
I have no idea. But I did hear that the store was recently bought out by a really generous billionaire. Maybe he's giving away clothes as gifts.
That's so nice of him, don't you think?
Definitely. I think it's a great way to give back to the community. Maybe we should try to track him down and thank him. After all, it's not every day you get an unexpected piece of clothing for free.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out tonight. It means a lot to me. So, recently I saw this doctor, and he told me something that made me laugh. He said, "Don't worry about getting older, it's totally natural." I said, "Yeah, but try telling that to my bank account." Alright, so I was out shopping the other day and one of those weird little kiosks that always try to sell you something was trying to sell me a pocket knife. So I asked him how much it was, and he said it'll cost you $3. Now, I know what you're thinking. $3 for a pocket knife? That's crazy. But then I thought about it and realized I could get two of them for the same price as one latte at Starbucks. So yeah, if you ever need a pocket knife, just remember two for the price of one latte. Anyway, I hope you're all having a great night so far. I know I am. Thanks for listening, everyone.
So I heard there's this new bakery in town that serves some unique flavors of cupcakes.
Unique? What do they have?
They have some really crazy flavors like peanut butter and jelly, mac and cheese, root beer float.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check it out.
What if they're not that great?
Then you'll have to get one of everything and then make a tiered cupcake display of mediocrity. Then you can have a cupcake castle of complete ordinariness. You can even put a little flag on top of the cupcake tower to proclaim its complete averageness.
Hey Vaughn, what do you have in your purse? You know I'm just curious about what you got in there.
Oh, nothing much. Just the usual stuff.
Like what?
Oh, a couple of magazines, some tissues, my lip balm, and a few chocolate bars. What? You don't think I need to be prepared for anything?
No, I think it's impressive. And smart too.
You bet. I never know what I might need when I'm out and about.
You're like a walking survival kit.
I was at the grocery store today, trying to pick out a box of cereal for breakfast. I couldn't decide between the Honey Nut Cheerios or the Fruit Loops.
Well, why don't you get both? That would be the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but then you'd have a lot of cereal to eat.
You're right, I can't eat that much cereal.
You're right, how about a combination of both?
Yeah, that way you can get the great taste of both cereals. But if you do that, it's like mixing apples and oranges. Hi there, everybody! I'm so excited to be here tonight. So, what's new with everyone? Have any of you noticed how the price of bread just keeps going up and up? I mean, it's like my paycheck is shrinking in a spending frenzy. And don't even get me started on the rise in gas prices. I'm almost paying more to fill my car up than to put groceries in it. It's enough to make you swear off driving altogether. I mean, who needs the hassle anyway? I guess it's just one of those things we have to accept. I mean, what can you do when life hands you lemons like these? Just squeeze him, throw him in a glass of ice-cold water, and hope for the best. What do you guys think? Is that how you handle life's little curveballs? Well, whatever it is, I hope you all have a great night of laughter and fun. Thank you so much for having me here. Cheers! Now, who's ready for some laughs? Do you ever think about the fact that everyone else in the world is having conversations just like ours right now? I always have this weird feeling that we're all connected somehow. It's like a cosmic soup of ideas and conversations.
Yeah, like a soup of feelings, thoughts, and ideas all bubbling around. Maybe we're all just part of the same big conversation. What if the conversations we have with each other are actually part of a much bigger conversation that is happening all over the world?
Hi everyone! How are we all doing tonight? So I was hanging out at a bar the other night and this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" Well, I thought, what the heck? So we got talking and it turns out he doesn't even have an ID. But the really strange thing is, he said it was his brother's ID and then I asked him how old his brother was and he said 32. So I guess being an older brother has its perks. Anybody else got any other funny stories from the bar? Come on, don't be shy. Alright, so here's something else. So I'm walking down the street and I see this guy walking around with a shopping cart full of books and he's just pushing it along like it ain't no tang. So I look in the cart and all of the books are about cats. Like cat psychology, how to care for cats, training your cat, even a book on cooking with cats. I don't know what he was planning to do with all of that knowledge, but it made me think, man, I got a lot to learn about cats. Oh, and one more thing. So I was in line at the grocery store the other day and this guy comes up to me and he's all like, "Hey man, can I have a bite of your apple?"
So you were saying that you bought all these fruits at the store?
Yeah, I wanted to make a fresh fruit smoothie. Little did I know, it was going to cost me a fortune.
What did you do?
I decided to turn it into an investment. I went ahead and sold the smoothies in Central Park. It was a huge success. Everyone loved it and I made a killing.
Wow, that's impressive. I guess you really know how to make a buck. Speaking of which, I could use some extra cash. What do you say we team up and start a business?
Absolutely. I've got some ideas that could really take off. Let's do it. Hey Fred, I just saw a clown walking down the street carrying a big bag of balloons. Can you believe that? That's so weird.
Yeah, but I just saw a man walking down the street with a pet monkey. Now that's really strange.
Oh, but I just saw a lady walking her cat on a leash. That's even stranger.
Hey, what about those people walking around town wearing Santa costumes in the middle of summer?
Yeah, that would definitely take the cake. Let's see what other weird things we can find.
Okay, let's go ask some people what they've seen.
Great idea.
Oh, this is going to be a wild ride.
You said it.
Hey Fred, I've been wondering something.
What? What kind of crazy thing have you been thinking about? Tell me, I can take it.
Well, I've been wondering if chicken soup can cure a cold. What do you think? I've heard it works, but I'm not convinced.
I think that's an interesting question, but I'm not sure if chicken soup can really cure a cold. But it certainly couldn't hurt.
Hey everyone, glad you could make it out tonight. So, I had an interesting experience last week and I thought I'd share it with you. So I'm walking home from work and I see an old lady walking with a cane. I offer to give her a ride since it was raining, but she insists on walking. So I'm like, Okay, whatever. So we walk past this lake and I see a duck with only one foot. I look at the old lady and she looks back at me and says, "Well, there you go. That's life." Hey, Yvonne. Is it true you got a new job as an ice cream taster?
Yeah, I did. It's a pretty sweet gig.
That's awesome. So how long have you been doing this?
Just a few days, but I'm already loving it. The flavors are so diverse and creative.
Well, it's nice to see you're having some sweet success.
Heh, yeah, I guess you could say that. Anyway, how's your job going?
Hey Larry, did you hear the news?
No, what news?
They say they're building a new ice cream store at the mall.
Seriously? I haven't been to the mall in years. Does that mean I have to start going back again?
Well, it's up to you. But I'm gonna be the first one in line when it opens.
Wow, they must be doing something major then. I'll have to go check it out. Hey everyone! Thanks for coming out tonight, I appreciate it. So, did anyone see that new movie with the talking dog? It was actually pretty funny. My favorite part was when he stole a bone from the grocery store. Speaking of animals, have any of you ever had a pet that just drove you crazy? I used to have an iguana that liked to hide in the curtains and then surprise me when I was least expecting it. What about annoying habits? My brother always hums when he's concentrating on something. It drives me absolutely nuts. But you know what they say, everyone has their quirks. Anyways, let's get back to the jokes. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Alright, one more. What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. Alright, thanks for coming out tonight, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye. Good night. Bye. Hey Fred, I heard a crazy story today.
Let me guess, it's about someone you know. Nah, it's about some famous actor who got stuck in an elevator with a bunch of strangers for 4 hours.
No way. What happened?
Well, apparently he had to entertain everyone with his anecdotes and impressions until the elevator was repaired. I guess they stayed pretty entertained.
That's hilarious. I wonder how the other people in the elevator reacted.
I think it was a mixture of shock and amusement. It must have been quite a sight.
I'm sure it was. Hey, you know what we should do? What's that? Hey, do you guys think I should try stand-up comedy?
Absolutely. You've got great timing, a good sense of humor, and you're always coming up with funny stuff to say.
I don't know. I'm kinda scared of what people might think.
Don't be scared. You gotta take a risk if you want to get ahead in life.
I dunno, Larry. You're not exactly the most outgoing person in the world.
Ah, come on, Fred, give him a chance. You know he's got what it takes.
Alright, I guess I'll give it a shot. But if I bomb, don't say I didn't warn you guys.
Don't worry, Larry, I'm sure you'll do great. If it doesn't work out, we can always make jokes about it later.
So I heard the craziest thing today. Apparently, the world's largest diamond is actually made of glass.
Wow, that sounds too good to be true. How did you hear about this? Maybe it's just a joke. Do you think there might be something special about this diamond that would make it worth a lot more than just glass?
I don't know, but I'm sure there's someone out there who'd love to have it. I heard the diamond is actually made of pure quartz, so that should make it more valuable.
Interesting. So what does it mean if someone has the world's largest quartz diamond?
Most likely, it means they are very wealthy. Hi everyone! Hi, how are you all? So it's great to finally be here in this comedy club. You know, I've been looking for a place like this ever since I moved here. And I was surprised to find out that this place is actually the top-rated comedy club in town. So I guess that's a good sign. Alright, so let's get this show on the road. I heard there was someone in the audience who's never been to a comedy show before. So this one's for you. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side, of course. You know what I just realized?
What?
We've been friends for years and we haven't done anything productive together yet.
But we've shared so many laughs and created some really memorable moments.
That's true, but how about we actually do something together? Maybe we could write a comedy sketch that we can perform at the local open mic night. What do you think, Fred?
I like it. Let's do it. Now we just have to figure out what kind of sketch it's going to be. funny one-liners, surreal and random skits, a parody of a classic movie.
Hey man, did you hear about this new idea that I just came up with?
What is it? Sounds intriguing.
Well, I was thinking of getting into the modern art business. I was thinking of making customized 3D printed replicas of famous works of art. I'll let people pick out the style, color, material, and size of the art.
Wow, sounds pretty cool. What do you think the market for an idea like that could be?
Well, I think it could be quite lucrative. People are always looking for unique and interesting pieces of art to decorate their homes and offices. Plus, with 3D printing, it can make reproducing a piece of art much easier and faster than ever before. So I think there is good potential for this.
Hey, did you hear what happened to Joe last night? He got lost and ended up in a strange part of town.
That's hilarious. Was he okay? Yeah, he eventually got back home. But it was raining and he had no umbrella.
Wow. That's so unlucky. I bet he was pretty frustrated when he found out what happened. Yeah, I'm sure he was. But you know what they.
Yeah,
He's probably gonna make a pretty good story out of this.
Exactly. You know what they say, turn lemons into lemonade.
Hey everybody! Welcome to the show! I'm so glad you're all here. So let's get started. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. What did the tree say when it was cold? Leave me alone. Why did the chicken go to the seance? To get to the other side. Alright, thanks for the laugh everyone. Now on to my next joke. What did the ghost teacher say to her students? Be seeing you. Alright, one more for the road. What did the volcano say when it erupted? This is going to be a lava fun time. Alright, that's all for tonight. Thanks again everyone. Have a great night. Bye!
I'm sure you two didn't expect me to show up, did you?
Larry and I were just talking about out how we both got stuck in an elevator all day. What are you doing here, Cackler?
I had the craziest dream last night that I was stuck in an elevator with both of you.
What? That's wild.
Yeah, I woke up laughing. Figured I better find you two to see what was really going on.
I think we should take the stairs from now on. What do you say, Cackler?
Absolutely. I'm never getting in an elevator again. How about you two?
I'm with you, buddy. Hey everyone! It's great to be here tonight. Well, the good news is that I just got out of jail. The bad news is, it wasn't my turn yet. Alright, so I was at the doctor's office not too long ago and he said to me, "You know what? You're as healthy as a horse." To which I replied, "How many horses have you been comparing me to?" So my boss asked me the other day if I'm good with numbers, and I said sure. I can count up to potato. Last one, I promise. So I was out walking the other day and this squirrel came up to me and asked if he could borrow my phone. I said sure, but only if you give me your number. Ha ha ha, thanks everyone. Alright, that's it for tonight. Have a great evening. Thanks everyone and enjoy the rest of your night. Good night. See ya. Bye.
Did you hear about the new restaurant down the street?
Yeah, my sister heard about it from her coworker. Apparently they specialize in weird combinations. What kind of combinations? I heard they have a dish that includes French fries and marshmallows.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, I know, but people are raving about it.
Well, I'm game if you are. Let's go for it sometime. I was also told they have an amazing dessert that includes pretzels and chocolate.
So, I was walking down the street the other day, and guess what?
What? I saw a clown on a unicycle.
No way. That's hilarious. What else did you see?
Well, I also saw a man dressed as a giant banana walking around. He was handing out fruit samples.
That's bananas. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Hey, speaking of funny, have you seen that new stand-up show at the club? It's supposed to be pretty good.
Hey, did you know that today's National Donut Day?
No, I didn't. That's great news. Does that mean we get free donuts?
I think so. Hey, I also heard that it's raining frogs out there.
Really? That's crazy. I guess it could be true. Anything can happen on National Donut Day.
Right? I mean, who would have thought that frogs and donuts could coexist in the same day? Amazing. I think we should celebrate this rare occasion with a donut eating contest. What do you think?
Sounds like a great idea. Let's do it. Whoever finishes their donut first wins. Who knows? Maybe the frogs will be watching and give us an extra point or something.
So I went to the dentist the other day, and he asked me how often do you floss? And I said, how often do you want me to lie? So this one time I was playing golf with my buddy, and he got a hole in one. He said, look, I did it. I said, yeah, but did you do it right? So my wife and I were at the store and she asked me to pick out a card. So I picked out one that said Happy Anniversary. She said, "What did you do wrong this time?" So I went to the bank the other day and the teller asked me if I wanted a receipt. I said no, like, "Do you want one?" So I was on a date the other night and we went out for dinner. We had steak, but she said it was too tough. I told her no, that's just how relationships are supposed to be. So I bought a new car recently and the salesman said it's got all the bells and whistles. I said, "Yeah, but does it have headlights?" So I was on a plane the other day and the flight attendant asked me if I wanted a drink. I said sure, why not? It's not like it'll make the plane any slower. And I was on my way to work the other day and my boss called and said, "Are you almost here?" And I said, "No, but I'm closer than I was yesterday."
So I was walking down the street and a guy says to me, "Hey buddy, got any spare change?"
So what did you do? Did you give him any money?
No, I told him to go beg someone else. Then he said, "Wow, you are a real comedian." So I just said, "Yes, I'm the funniest guy in town."
Oh man, did you really say that?
Yeah, I figured what the heck. He seemed to believe it, so why not go with it?
That's pretty bold. Did he give you any money in the end?
No, but he did give me a high five.
That's funny, the least he could have done. Hey everyone! It's great to be here tonight. I just recently moved into this area, and boy, let me tell you, it took 3 days to find a parking spot. I was looking for a spot along the street, and finally one opened up. Unfortunately, it was right next to the construction site. I'm standing there trying to back in, and I hear the beep of a bobcat coming towards me. So I jump out of my car and yell, "I've got dibs." Anyway, to make a long story short, I got the spot. Now if only I can get my car out of there without getting towed. How about you guys? What's been your most hair-raising parking experience? You know what they say, life is like a parking lot. Some days you get the spot and some days you don't. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks for coming out and have a great night.
Wow, this place is really crowded tonight. I wonder if there's going to be a wait.
Who knows, but maybe we'll get lucky.
Wouldn't that be a miracle? You know, if I wanted to wait, I would have stayed home.
Ha! That's true.
I don't think I've ever seen this place so busy.
Yeah, it's like a circus in here.
That's because everyone wants to be here and have a good time. Hey, you guys ever heard of this new thing that's sweeping town? It's called bubble tea.
Bubble what? I don't get it. Is it a drink? What's in it?
Yeah, it's a drink. It's made with tea and milk, along with some type of chewy granules like tapioca or jelly at the bottom. It looks like a drink, but it's fun and chewy too. I think it's really delicious, actually.
Interesting. I'm going to have to give it a try.
Yeah, why don't we all go out and try one sometime? I think you'd like it.
I'm down. Let's do it. I just hope it lives up to the hype.
I just heard the strangest thing. Apparently they're sending fruitcake to the North Pole this year.
That's because Santa needs something to throw at the reindeer. What does he have to give out as presents if he runs out of coal?
I was thinking of that same thing. Maybe he'll start giving out cinnamon sticks.
That could be it. But I'm guessing the elves are going to be pretty busy wrapping fruitcake for a while.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe their motto this year should be when in doubt, send fruitcake.
Yeah, that should be their new slogan. Christmas fruitcake, the gift you can guarantee will survive the North Pole winter.
Huh, you might as well make a list of all the things that can survive the North Pole and just send that. Hey, everybody. Is this mic on? Because I'm about to do some stand up in here. So, I heard there was a new couple in town. And the guy said to his girlfriend, I'm gonna take you somewhere really special for our first date. She said, that sounds great. Where are we going? He said, the pharmacy. Everyone can relate to that, right? The struggle is real. Anyway, have you guys heard the one about the barista who spilled hot coffee on her customer? She said, I'm so sorry. The customer replied, don't worry about it. It's just the way I like my coffee, hot and wet.
Hey, Fred, did you hear about the new exhibit downtown that's only open for one night? It sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What do you think?
I think it sounds like a great idea. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to something one night only? After all, why wait for tomorrow when you can do something today? Sure, I'm in. Let's go see what it's all about.